honoring those who serve. Veterans Voices here on 12 News. Over the next half hour, join us as we take time to recognize the bravery, dignity, and humanity of local veterans. Now, here's your host, Jalyn Lamp.
Hello and welcome into our 12 News Veterans Voices special here on WBOY. I'm Jalyn Lamp. We begin tonight with one man's commitment to his fellow servicemen, a native West Virginian who never made it back from Vietnam. These days, Michael Cunningham dedicates his time, his effort, and his energy to keeping Jerry Auxier's memory alive until he makes his way home. 57 years after serving in the Vietnam War, Michael Cunningham has never forgotten his brother in combat, Staff Sergeant Jerry Auxier of Dixie, West Virginia. Cunningham and Auxier shared the same company, although they were in different platoons. And one fateful evening, a U.S. helicopter bringing supplies to the company was planted with a 500-pound explosive that detonated right as the helicopter landed. 3 men within the company died while a dozen more were injured. However, Staff Sergeant Auxier was missing, a reality Cunningham has carried with him ever since that night.
He's been missing for 56 years. I've had 56 years of life since he's been dead.
Although Cunningham and Auxier weren't that close while serving our country, they bonded for life over their experience through the war, which in turn led Cunningham to go back to Vietnam 49 years later and search for his comrades' remains.
We knew our fate was not in our own hands. You know, whatever happened, if we got killed over there, like we always made a promise to each other, don't leave me behind. Make sure you get me home. You know, we did not do that for Jerry. We broke our promise.
In his effort to make good on that promise, Cunningham found countless roadblocks in trying to return to Vietnam, but he was invited by the Defense POW-MIA accounting agency to serve as an eyewitness alongside a research investigation team. Even after all those years, Cunningham was able to lead the team back to the area the bomb was deployed on his company in 1968, even finding the exact foxhole he hid in. Cunningham says the experience was cathartic for him, as he felt he was finally serving a purpose he had set to do for decades. But frustration followed suit when Auxier's remains were not found. Despite this, he hasn't lost hope.
I'm 75 years old now, but I'll still go back. I'll still go back up on that hill. I'll give my life to go back up on that hill to find his remains.
The biggest hindrance was that the team couldn't excavate more than 3 inches deep into the land, leaving little to no options in the search. While he was at the location, and to his surprise, Cunningham actually met the man who deployed that bomb on his company. He says the chance meeting ended in a handshake, the exchanging of condolences, and an expressed understanding for one another's position.
We all hated to be in Vietnam. We hated it. We knew it was wrong. We knew it was stupid.
One day, Cunningham says he hopes to travel to Dixie to give Auxier's surviving family members items like soil and an American flag he gathered from his trip to Vietnam. Until that day, he will continue advocating for Jerry and others like him.
I would not send one more person, one more American into combat until we have a full accounting of our guys that we lost, that we could find. We can't find Jerry's remains. We can't.
Last month, a World War II pilot from Preston County was laid to rest 80 years after he and his crew were killed in action over the Pacific Ocean. Family members of Jay Manown and his 2 crew members, Anthony DiPetta and Wilbur Mitz, were all in attendance at the funeral. Manown's remains were brought back to West Virginia thanks to the efforts of Project Recover, a nonprofit dedicated to locating and eventually identifying the remains of soldiers killed in action. Shortly after the funeral, a squadron of fighter jets conducted a flyover of the Kingwood Funeral Home as a tribute to the fellow airmen who lost their lives serving the country.
All 3 families have come together. One family, the DiPetta family from New Jersey, the other family from California. So it was almost a symbolic reunion of the crew to have each family member of the crew here. That's very unique.
Manown was laid to rest at the Maplewood Cemetery in Kingwood next to his parents, Jay and Ella. Back in September, 12 News got to exclusively travel and document the honor flight experience of nearly 100 veterans The Clarksburg Honor Flight flew local veterans to Washington, D.C. to see war monuments. The day also involved a hero's welcome back to Harrison County at the conclusion of the tour. Barbara Ron took part in that trip. She shares the story now of veterans who took part in the forgotten war in Korea.
Well, our cool machine guns would just freeze up. You'd have to keep them thawed out.
70 years after the Korean War, memories like these are still vivid for 93-year-old U.S. Army veteran Jalyn Lamp.
After we got over there, we got those Mickey Mouse boots, and it looks like they got on, to keep your feet from freezing. It was cold over there.
Lamp fought in Korea from 1952 to 1954. He says visiting the Korean War Memorial was a must for him in order to pay his respects to those he served alongside and whose names are now engraved on these walls, recognizing their ultimate sacrifice, even if some memories have started to fade for Lamp.
There's a lot of names in there that I've probably fought with, but I couldn't tell you a name today.
The Korean War began June 25, 1950, after the Northern Korean People's Army's invasion of South Korea, with the goal of unifying under the communist North Korean regime. President Harry Truman committed U.S. troops to the combined United Nations forces in assisting South Korea in its defense, and plunging 6.8 million American men and women to serve during the 3-year war, leading to more than 54,000 American deaths.
I wish there more people could see this. So they could see what goes on in the world. If they seen all those names on that wall down there.
The Korean War was dubbed the Forgotten War because it was between World War II and the Vietnam War, and memorial visitors made sure to pay their respects to living history. The honor flight not only brings veterans to Washington, D.C., but it also provides a platform for bonding for many of these veterans, including Lamp and John Morrison, who met for the first time right here and held on to each other knowing they're not alone.
If you're looking to give back to veterans in a life-changing way, the option may be right inside your own home. Here are details now on a veterans foster care program. The Lewis A. Johnson VA Medical Center is looking for compassionate and nurturing individuals to participate in its medical foster home placement program, where these individuals will open their homes to veterans in need as an alternative to a nursing home setting. Currently, only one home in Upshur County is a part of the program, although many veterans are in need throughout the region.
So for one, it's more individualized and personalized treatment. In a nursing home setting, there could be upwards of 150 plus individuals receiving care in a nursing home setting. A medical foster home placement, only 3 residents are served at any given time. So the treatment that veterans are receiving in a medical foster home placement, it's more personalized, it's more individualized.
And with that individualized care, veterans are able to receive home-based primary care, where doctors, nurses, dietitians, pharmacists, social workers, and physical therapists will travel to the residents, and veterans would only need to visit the hospital for specialty care. Caregivers within the program will also receive their own benefits.
The way that caregivers are paid for the service currently is it's private pay. However, within about 1.5 to 2 years, the VA will start paying for this service through the Cleveland Dole Act, which states that any veterans who are 70% service-connected or greater will have their costs covered by the VA facility like they do with a nursing home placement.
If you're interested in learning more about how to become a caregiver, or if you know a veteran who could benefit from being enrolled in this program, you can reach out to the VA by calling 304-476-9903. Still to come, a West Virginia hero is receiving another honor, this time in our nation's capital. That's next on our 12 News Veterans Voices special.